What role are you looking forward to take on that may be the same from last season and growing on it, or maybe something different that you want to bring this year?
I want to add scoring. Scoring more, a scoring threat, being more physical, being more aggressive.
Yeah.
3-level scores, score at the mid-range level, at the basket, and a 3-point. I think that would just open up players more for me. Like, it will open the post player up. That will open. I mean, our whole team can score. So if I add that with them, I mean, it's gonna be crazy.
Welcome back to Sometimes I Hoop. Today, we've got someone you never want to see on the defensive end. Quick, humble brag about our superstar here. Ranked number 1 point guard, number 2 overall in the class of 2021, All-SEC selection, not one, 2-time NCAA champion, none other than Raven Johnson. Thanks for hopping on the pod.
You're welcome.
Well, quick icebreaker before we get into the basketball talk. What was the first concert that you ever went to?
Concert? Have I ever been to a concert? Oh, I think I have been to a concert. I was on a stage. I don't know. I don't remember my first.
Being on stage somewhere. This is crazy.
I don't remember the first, but I do remember the recent one.
Okay.
It was with 2 Chainz. I went to Atlanta and I went on stage with 2 Chainz. So I remember the recent one.
Oh, you're like, well, that's a good one to remember. I feel like being on stage with 2 Chainz is pretty memorable. Hopping into the landscape here, the Revenge Tour is over. You guys did it. You won the Natty. Was there a different theme going into this summer?
The repeat tour. I mean, why not go back to back?
You know, that's a good choice. I feel I should have picked up on that one. That's a good choice. Repeat for sure. How long did the celebration after winning last year's Natty last? Or is it still going on right now?
How long? Oh gosh, let me tell you. We had a blast. I mean, it's not going on right now because we're in preseason right now. We're getting ready for the season, but we had a blast. We had fun. We had a parade. I mean, we were just bonding with each other. I mean, what we usually do, and we had little parties we went to.
Yeah, a little something. Had a good time. Had a time. Love that for you. You guys deserved it. So thinking about the off season that you guys had, the summertime last season before a Natty, what are the vibes like with this team heading into our fall season? Tahina told me last year summer was a little rough. Y'all didn't know how it was going to go. But what are the vibes like this summer? Is it still Dawn's daycare? Are we graduating into something else? What are the vibes?
Honestly, I think we're all excited. Yeah, it's still Dawn's daycare. I mean, like we're ourselves. We have a sisterhood that's so strong, and they translate to on the court, and then off the court things translate to on the court things. So I think it's the same. And I think that, it's not as hard as last summer because, kind of have the same pieces that we had. We're just missing Camilla. So we know connections. We have those connections on the court. So coach knows who she can trust on the court, and just adding those freshmen, some dominant freshmen that we brought in. So
yeah. I mean, you guys reload every season. And I feel like this season, especially really only losing Camilla. You guys are going to have a lot of pieces. Everybody just kind of continuing to grow that chemistry from last season, which is scary. And you have a big non-conference schedule coming up. Dawn really stacked it for you guys. Michigan, NC State, UCLA, Iowa State, Duke, the list goes on and on. Is there one of those non-conference games that you have circled on the schedule? Like you're excited to play that team?
I mean, I wouldn't say I have any team circle. I say one game at a time, one day at a time. The goal is to take one step at a time, win those off-season games, then get to conference play, then make it back to the national championship. So I won't say there's no team that I have circled. So.
All right, we're looking forward to everybody. Good answer. So with the conference shakeup and all the different realignments this season, joining the SEC, you have Texas and Oklahoma. Do you feel like there's going to be an adjustment period that those teams are going to need to make moving from the Big 12 into SEC, which is physical? Y'all are big, talented, play both sides of the ball. Do you feel like there's going to be maybe an adjustment period that they're going to need to make playing you guys, the Tennessees, Ole Misses, all the great teams?
Yeah, I think you just said it. SEC is very physical. The bigs are very physical. I think it's very fast. There's a lot of transition ball up and down. So I think that's probably one major thing that they have to adjust to. But other than that, I think they're pretty good. But it is very physical and very fast. And SEC is very tough. It's a tough conference. Yeah,
it is a tough conference. And I think that they're going to need to do a little adjusting. But it's just those two teams are really competitive. So there's going to be a lot of more in-season, big-time matchups, big games. You guys already had a huge one. LSU last year was insane. Tennessee every year. Where do you feel like is one of your favorite places, like an SEC road game that you're like, all right, this matchup is going to be lit. I'm excited.
LSU. You said it. LSU. I think the atmosphere. I think it was college game day when we went to
Yeah.
LSU. And oh my gosh, let me tell you, their fans are crazy.
Yeah.
They're like our fans. And when we walked in the gym, we warmed up, all you could hear was LSU fans. And I remember them like booing Coach Staley. It was so crazy. And when the game started, they did not sit down. Like you could hear
They're
them
up.
from this. Yes, you can hear from the start to finish. Like they are diehard LSU fans. I think that was one of the crazy atmosphere because we had to play. I feel like we had to play against the team and the
Mhm.
fans.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere
Yes.
definitely influences the game. Like that is a
Yes.
crazy environment to play at for
It
sure.
does.
And so just talking about the talent of the SEC, I feel like there's a lot of good guards. Obviously, you have a great backcourt with the list goes on with your guard play this field. I feel like, you,
Yes.
Tahina, Malaysia, Tessa, the list just goes on and
Mm-hmm.
on. And so I want you to blindly rank some of these other backcourt duos that we have in the NCAA, okay? Taking your backcourts out of it, I'm going to give you
Okay.
5 names and you're going to rank them 1 through 5 without knowing what's coming next. All right?
Yeah. Yes.
First one, we got NC State, Sinai Rivers, and Isaiah James. Where are you ranking them 1 through 5?
Ooh, I do my dogs. I'm gonna put them at 2.
Okay. Next one, we got UConn, Page with KK or AZ. Either one of them.
1.
1. All
That's a
right.
good duo. Yeah, that's a good duo.
That's good. Next one, we got Baylor, Jada Walker, and Sarah Andrews.
I'm probably gonna put them at 4 because they're good, but I haven't like really sat down and watched them, but they are really good.
Okay, yeah. I mean, nobody's like, they're all, it's very close
Yeah,
between these. I got you.
it is.
So we got ranking 3 and 5 left. Your next matchup is Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo, Notre Dame.
Oh, 3.
Okay. Last one, Texas. This is your 5 spot. Rory Harmon and Madison Booker.
They should have been higher. I gotta put them at 5, but that's a good duo. That is a really good duo, honestly.
Yeah.
I have respect for them.
I feel like they're all right there. Like a lot of them are
Yes,
interchangeable. I feel like there's a lot
they
of really
are.
good guard play this year, which I'm
It
excited to see.
is. It
Yeah.
is.
So, talking about the SEC and the guard play that you guys have, I want you to give me like a mini scouting report without giving away too many of your secrets. So, I feel like kind of a hidden gem, Sarah Puckett from Tennessee. Talk to me about Sarah Puckett.
You got to run her off the 3-point line. I mean, she's gonna shoot it. She has a quick release. I mean, she reminds me of probably like Marina Mabry in the league. Like just hit it and shoot. So you got to run. You got to know where she's at all times. Run her off the 3-point line and have hot hands. Got to make her shoot shots over contested hands.
All right, so talk to me about Flau'jae from LSU. What's our scout?
Blue collar worker. She works hard. Honestly, she reminds me of Kalia Copper. She works hard. They want to win. They're gonna do whatever it takes to win. That they got to rebound, guard the best player on the floor, defend. I mean, you just gotta match her energy. You gotta make passes hard to her. You gotta deny her as much as possible, and you gotta make her think. Make her think. So speed her up, I guess, but definitely match her energies because she's a very hard player.
Well, you with these player comparisons, really on the money. That's a good scout. I like that.
Yeah.
You played high school hoops with Tanaya Latson, which is crazy to have 2 superstars of your caliber on the same high school team. Talk about how it was you 2 playing together and then the friendship that's still lasting today.
Tanaya, oh my gosh, I miss her so much. I honestly, in high school, I was planning on going to college with her because I think our backcourt duo was nothing like no other. I mean, the stuff that we did, like I could be on the other end of court and she could be on the other end. I could just throw the ball to her. Like I just know
Yeah.
her sweet spots and I know like where she likes the ball. And Tanaya, she's a per bucket. Like she's gonna go get a bucket and she works hard. She's like Flau'jae. Like she wants to win. She works hard. She's willing to do whatever the coach need her to do. And I like players like that who's like a sponge, who wants to learn, who wants to get better. But she's like a bestie. She's like my best friend. I talk to her. I know that she's, getting ready for her season coming up, and I know she's about to have a really big season ahead of her. So,
Yeah,
she's
both of you
definitely
are.
my best. Yes.
For sure. And also another Georgia legend, growing up with superstar Anthony Edwards. Talk to me about the relationship with him and what you've learned from him, little bits and pieces that he's given you to implement into your own game.
Well, honestly, that's my son. So that's my son. I taught him
Got it.
everything he knew.
Yeah.
But he gotta work on his defense just a little. So I need to,
Okay.
do some stuff on that with him. But yeah, that's my son. I think I met Anthony Edwards with our trainer called Justin Holland.
Mhm.
He's one of the probably someone that I'm glad that I met in my life because he has changed a lot of how I think of basketball, how just maneuver about basketball and off the court things. So I met Anthony Edwards there. I remember going 1-on-one with Anthony in a training session, and he was treating me like a little boy. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm a girl. And I was like, I think I was like ninth grade, high school. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
this man trying to dunk with me. He's pushing me. And I tell everybody to this day that I beat him. Like I would never tell nobody he beat me. Like I always say I beat him.
Yeah.
And yeah, he definitely treated me like a little boy. And just seeing how he works hard in the gym, he gets up every morning. Like he goes to the gym 3 times a day. It
Mhm.
made me think like, dang, like I could do the same thing. Like then seeing all the accolades he had McDonald All-American, Jordan
Mhm.
Brand Classic. Then I remember he reclassed up, went to Georgia, got drafted. And I was like, yeah, I want to do the stuff that he's doing. All it takes is just getting in the gym, putting in the
Yeah.
work. So yeah,
I feel like to be able to see that firsthand from a young age is inspiring to be like, okay, I take these same
yes,
steps. And then you ended up doing that yourself, being an All
yes,
American, winning Georgia Gatorade Player of the Year. I feel like that's such a special relationship to have. Even now, just learning from him, but also him being able to learn from you if he's your son, obviously. That's how it works. Love that. And so moving throughout AAU, starting to get recruited, going through the recruiting process, what were those other schools that you were interested in that almost got you but didn't?
Well, to say the least, COVID happened, so I
Ah,
couldn't.
that that
Yeah,
changes
my
things.
class we didn't. My class didn't really take official visits, so I had to go
Mhm.
off of what I knew, like what FaceTime calls, coaches who interact with me more, who I had a bond with, and I think that a lot of the coaches they apply pressure. They did apply pressure,
Yeah.
and I know that the recruiting process can be very hard, very annoying because it was very annoying for me. So I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my gosh, I gotta get on the FaceTime with this person, this and third." I remember getting on the FaceTime calls with Coach Staley every day. We did a little exercise that we had to do every day. I forgot the name of it. And I
Okay.
just think I grew a relationship with her, just talk to her every day. And she didn't just talk about basketball. That's what I
Yeah.
loved about her. Like she did not talk about basketball. It was like life stuff situations. So I was like, she's more like a mother figure, like a mom. Like if I go to her, I can just go to her about anything. So I like that about her. Like she didn't talk about basketball. She wanted to get to know me actually.
Yeah.
So that was a big difference of what she brought to the table.
For sure. I feel like that makes a lot of sense because your college decision, obviously it's focused around basketball, but your life at college is so much more than that. Classes, figuring out what
Yes.
you want to do with the rest of your life, all those different things. And so for Don to, look at you from a young age when you're 16, 17 and see that potential in you, it definitely leads into why, you ended up choosing South Carolina in the end. You end up getting there your freshman year. Talk to me about those first few practices. Was it what you expected? Was it harder? Is there a horror story that you have from your first few days?
Oh gosh, I remember my first practices. I had to guard Henny,
Oh,
Destiny
geez.
Henderson. I mean, she's like oh my gosh, just zoom, 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 zoom,
Oh,
zoom. It was
yeah, she's
so hard.
quick.
Oh my gosh, it was so hard to stay in front of her, and I think she prepared me. I think she helped me a lot. And I tore my ACL in like NC State, like the second game,
Mhm.
and yeah, I think that moment right there made me realize like I need to, I don't know, I prepared me. I don't know, it made me mentally strong, physically strong. But the practices before that injury happened was very hard. Just coming under Aaliyah Boston, trying to guard
Mhm.
Zaya Cook, Breville, people that's very experienced. And
Yeah.
us freshmen like Sanaya Rivers, she was here, Breezy Halls,
Mhm.
Sanaya Fagan, and me just trying to pick up what they have. They had like pro habits, these pro habits that they had, and they tried to instill in us. It was very hard. And I say like the time management was very hard because you don't have your mom there no more.
Yeah.
You don't have the people that you leaned on in high school no more. So you kind of like gotta use the resources that they have here and also be on your own. It's time for you to become an adult. So
Yeah.
I think that they did a great job of helping us. But those practices, oh gosh, it was
It's a lot.
conditioning, getting shape. Yeah, those type of practices.
For sure. And you mentioned having the injury like that. Coming in as a freshman, being a top recruit, going through an injury, it's really hard to, stay engaged with the team, all those different things. So, what do you feel like you learned the most from sitting out that season? Still getting to win a championship, all those things. What did you really get to learn that you then implemented going into your sophomore season from sitting out?
The biggest thing that I learned was to trust God.
Mhm.
I got closer to God during that time. Letitia, me here, LA.
Mhm.
She's the one that got me closer to God, and I think that I did learn to trust God. And another big thing is don't get too high with the highs and don't get too low with the lows. I
Mhm.
hear that so much, and Coach been saying that since Zion was here. She still say it now, and I think that's really a big thing for me. It's like to not get so high with the highs and too low with the lows. And another one is confidence. I mean, Coach always say confidence can take you a long way, not
Yeah.
with just basketball, but off the court stuff. So another one would be definitely confidence.
Those are good ones. I think especially the highs with highs and lows is you wanna find where you operate, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
so I think that's such an important thing, and you learn that as you get older, having times like that, sitting out, figuring out where you play your best. And so moving into your sophomore season, you have a very key role on the team, coming off the bench, being a spark, high impact player. So then we get later into the season. What do you feel like was your mindset going in, having a big role on the team after sitting out, getting to be that impact player? How did your mindset shift accepting your role?
it was very hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was so
Mhm.
hard to be on the court with those freshies. That's what they call them,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fresh.
Zai,
It was
Bree, all them.
Oh my gosh, it was so hard to like just be a point guard and try to call the plays for them because they know what's right, they know what's wrong. So every time I felt I was wrong because I was younger than them, and I was
Yeah.
like, how can I lead these girls when they been in this college experience more than me? I used to
Mhm.
say stuff like that, but when you have those freshies like that who has so much confidence in you, like just telling you you got this. I used to be so nervous before a game. I remember Aaliyah, she comes to me, just pray. She always say,
Mhm.
let's pray. And then she just, I don't know, she gave me this confidence boost. Like she's like, go be yourself. There's no another Raven Johnson. Just go be yourself. So just having those type of freshies who's there for you all the time, it helped. It helped. But it was very hard. Like those games were very hard. Like it was
Yeah.
my first year on the court. So I was like, oh my gosh, like not even that. Like the fans, the atmosphere, it was crazy. Like I never played in no atmosphere like that. So it was my
Mhm.
first time doing all that stuff. So yeah.
It's hard. It's an adjustment to make for sure. Like,
Yeah.
especially
It
when
was.
you are playing point guard. It's such a pivotal
Yeah.
role on the team. And so I feel like having those freshies in that class, calming you down, instilling that confidence, it means so much. And so
Yeah.
I think that's amazing that they were able to do that for you. And so moving through the season, you guys are playing amazing, obviously, getting to the Final Four, having that huge matchup. And you've talked about it in your Players Tribune article that you had in the past, but that game was a turning point for you in some bad ways, but also ways that made you grow into who you are today. And so obviously losing a game like that, having to deal with all the social media nonsense, everything that goes on. Talk to me about the aftermath of that game, how it influenced your mental, and how you were able to snap out of that and turn into the season that you had the next year.
Oh, trust me, it definitely influenced my
It's a
mental. I mean,
process.
it punched me from the left, from the right, from
Mhm.
the back, from the front. I mean, I remember being in my room. I didn't want to see nobody. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a kid. Like I'm going to get on social media. I'm going to see those type of stuff. I mean, who isn't? Then there's people that was sending it to me. So I was like, oh gosh, it was everywhere. Like it was everywhere. So I remember being in my room, just crying every day. I didn't want to
Mhm.
see nobody. I didn't want nobody to see me. I didn't want to talk to nobody. But I did have to get over that stepping stool and break the barrier of just talking to somebody. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with talking to people, and I think the person that really helped me during that time was LA. Like
Mhm.
LA was the one that helped me, and she took me to church. She got me closer to God, and it was stuff like that made me think like everything. I remember in church, Travis Green said everything happens for a reason. So I think that line right there actually it hit me. I was like, maybe this happened for a reason. Maybe I needed something like this. Maybe I need to wake up. Maybe, this happened for a reason. So I think that made me get in the gym. It made me
Yeah.
work on my weakness. It made me work on getting my 3-point shot better. And I just said, I just said, I'm going to use this for fuel to the fire. I'm going to just get a chip on my shoulder and just let this bad negative thing turn into something positive. And I think
Mhm.
I used that fuel to the fire and we won a national championship. So I just say, yeah, everything does happen for a reason.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to like it social media does impact you, especially like you talked about, like when you're in college, you're so young. It's hard to stay off of it when social media is so
Yes.
prevalent in our society. And so I think a lot of times, I don't know if fans don't understand like that we see these things. You know what I mean? Like I'm a person first outside of
Yes.
basketball. So like Also,
Gosh.
you would never come up and say this to my face. So
Thank
why,
you.
like, why are you behind a screen thinking that all of a sudden it's okay? Because if I run past you in Starbucks or on campus, you're never gonna say this to me.
Exactly.
And so I think for you, like it just shows how strong you are in the strength of vulnerability, opening up to somebody like LA, talking to
Yeah.
coaches, talking to your parents, really leaning on that inner circle that you have is so important and understanding which opinions you can let in. Oh my
Yep.
gosh. After we lost to y'all, my I think that was my senior year. We lost to y'all at home. Like that was one of those games for me. I had to go sit down and just sit in a dark room and just be like, ugh, like you need a day. You need
Yes.
time. But when you snap
Mhm.
out of it, you're able to watch the film, get it together, all those things. And like you said, use that as fuel to then fire that next summer that you guys had. Moving into that next season, dusting yourself off. Last summer comes, freshies are gone. You're now like leader of the team, bringing everybody together. And from what I've heard, you guys did not feel like you were a championship team that summer. So talk to me about how that summer went and the growth that you guys had to have moving into that season.
Yes. Like you said, the freshies left. We had a
Mhm.
I mean, coach had to come up with a new starting five. I mean,
Yeah,
not even yeah, not a experienced starting five. Starting fives, she
from
probably don't
scratch.
even trust. Yes. Yes, from scratch.
Yeah,
And in the summer, let me tell you, I mean, we did not look like the number 1 team in the country. I mean, it was horrible. It
yeah.
was horrible. I remember all we did was we did a lot of running, just a lot of running from yes, from mistakes that we did in practice. I mean, it was conditioning. Practice was like conditioning, and I think that those moments right there made us stronger and made us come together. It made us
Mhm.
realize like we need one another. Like we need to come to this is South Carolina. This is Coach Staley, and they hold a high standard here. So we need to
Yeah,
keep this, standard, this winning tradition, this standard high, and keep our pro habits the same. I mean, Coach was very much. She was hard on us that summer. It was
yeah.
very hard. Like it was so hard. And I think when we went to Paris and we played Notre Dame, and oh my gosh, I remember when it was halftime. We was up by like what was like 10-9.
Mhm.
We was like, oh, we have a team. We have a team. Like we can play. Like we're good. We was all jumping for joy. We was like, we good. Like we have connection. We got chemistry. So
Yeah.
from that game, I think that game was a stepping stone for us. Like we knew what we had. We was like, yeah, we need to go and practice every day with this mindset of we can be the number 1 team in the country. I mean, like a lot of us wasn't thinking about being the number 1 team in the country. We didn't really care about stuff like that. I think they ranked us at number 6. We didn't look at stuff like that. We always say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Like sometimes when you're so caught up in just practice, seeing the same people every day, you feel horrible. You're like, this is so ugly right now. But once you
Yes.
have a game against another top team like that, it does so much for the confidence and just pushing you guys and having a turning point like
Mhm.
that. I feel like for you to have a turning point in the first game of the season is crazy. Like, okay, guys, we're fine. We're gonna be whatever. Like, not a lot of teams get to have that so early. And for you, like you talked about, starting from scratch, a new starting five, it's a new era, low key. Even though you guys are like, you have great bench production, all those things, being a starter is different. And so
Yeah.
going from starting 3 games to 35 games, what do you think for you personally helped you the most making that jump to being the starting point guard, to being the catalyst for your team, both defensively and offensively?
I honestly didn't even think about it like that. Honestly, I just say coach always saying when your number's called, be ready,
Hmm.
produce. I didn't think about a starter. I think if you ask me, the whole team is a starting five. I mean, the bench right, like I feel like the people that come off the bench is a spark for us. That's a whole
Yeah.
nother starting five. They bring this whole nother spark that helps the game. It flips the game. The other teams be tired. They bring this like Malaysia, Tessa. They bring this
Yeah.
woo, 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 like other teams be tired. So I could say they can start if they really want to, they can start. So I feel like our whole team is a starting five. I don't think we look at it as who starts that night, who does a starting five, who come off the bench. We're connected. Everybody's a starting five. We want to win. And just to go 35-0, it was crazy. I mean, we didn't even realize we was doing that, going 35-0. We all kept saying we just want to win a national championship. That's all we
Yeah.
kept saying. But to go 35-0 from scratch with a whole new starting five, with a whole new basically team is crazy to me. Like I really honestly still can't believe it.
Yeah, for a team to be able to have that is crazy. Like, as the other team, like, what are you doing with that, you know? Like, you come
Yeah.
off and you think there's gonna be a drop off, and boom, it's just a new spark. It's fresh legs is what it is. It's
Yes.
no drop off. For other team,
Yes.
that'd be so frustrating. I'm like, what are you What do you expect me to do? I'm tired. They got a whole new starter five out here. That's crazy. Talk to me about the pieces that you guys had last year, right? Bringing in Malaysia, bringing in Tessa, the addition of Tahina, what that did for you guys. Talk about all those different pieces and how you guys were able to really like mesh all of that together to be as cohesive as it was.
Oh yes, like I said in the summer, it was very hard to get those uh combinations together. But I think Tahina, Tessa, Malaysia, they brought something different. Like
Yeah.
Tahina, I mean, you gotta play her. Like she's a knockdown shooter. Not even that. She's a sniper. She's gonna,
Yeah.
you feel me? We call her Tahina Pow Pow. I mean, is it her name? Pow Pow. She's gonna, hit
Literally.
the shot. Yes. In Malaysia, she's like this flash guy, like the flashy Malaysia. You don't know what she's gonna do. I mean, she
Yeah.
goes down the court. I'm pretty You see people in the stands, they be having their eyes open, like, what is she about to do? Like, it's something crazy coming from her. So I think she's like generational talent. Like
Yeah.
she does stuff that no other girl does. I mean, it's very crazy. And then you have Tessa, who can also spread the floor, who shoots the ball like no other. I mean, if when she shoots, it's either she's making or making. I mean, there's no misses. There's no misses. I mean, Tessa, she's coming to her own, and I think Tessa's gonna be a really good player. Like she does stuff that somebody on our team doesn't do. Like
Mhm.
she does. She's learning the defensive end. She wants to get better on the defensive end. Tessa, she's a sponge. Like she wants to learn. And if you see her in practice, she's always putting up shots after practice. So it's things like that as a freshman. Like that freshman class, they wanted to win. Like you could just tell they had a different mindset coming in. So
Yeah, I think for you guys to be able to have all those different weapons and it works together cohesively because you guys all bring such different things. And so when you guys were
yes.
able to find that rhythm, it's scary for other teams. And you still have Tessa Malaysia coming off the bench. Like, how are you supposed to handle that? You know what I mean? And you guys all do everything so well. Heading into that championship game, what was your mental prep going into a game like that after the way it ended last season and all the different things going on? How did you kind of find that moment, like we talked about earlier, where you need to operate? How did you stay with the moment?
Oh, I was on 10. I was so ready to play the game. I mean, the whole team, we was amped up. Like we was
Yeah.
so ready to play this championship game. The day before in film, we kept saying, "Why can't the game be today? Why can't the game be today?" We was on that type of energy. And
Yeah.
when game time came, I don't think none of us was really nervous. We was more of like ready to get out there and play the game. Like
Mhm.
40 minutes of basketball, we was ready for 40 minutes of basketball. And not even that. We trusted the game plan. Coach Winston that we brought in. He was the scout person for Iowa, and we really trusted his game plan. I think when the ball went up, I mean, yeah, Caitlin had what, 8,
Mhm.
18, 20 some
Mhm.
points on us. And I don't think none of us got rattled. None of us, we was like, oh, the game is over. None of that. I mean, we trusted what coach was gonna bring. She made an adjustment and she, changed the game plan. She put me on her, which I was so ready. I wanted to guard her from the start because
I was gonna
yeah, I
say,
did. I was ready. Like, yes, I was ready. I wanted to guard her from the start, but when she made the adjustment, I was like, this is my time. When the moment's
yeah.
called, like we always say, when your jersey number's called, be ready, produce. So I was like, this is my time. I gotta, you feel me? Do what I do. And I think I did a good job. Look,
Mhm.
just holding her to a limited amount of points. But I think she did a really good job of coming out, just banging threes on us, getting a score up for her team. I think we needed that, honestly. It made us think that, like Tennessee game, don't take your foot off the gas. Like the game is never over to the end. It's not how you start, it's always how you
Mhm.
finish. So
How do you think for you, having a bounce back game like that, your specific performance, being able to, like you said, rise to the occasion when your number was called? You wanted to guard it from the start, wasn't your matchup, but when it came time to do it, you locked up. You did what you needed to do. You brought the energy offensively, getting buckets, knocking down your three, getting your teammates involved. How fulfilling was that for you to have that type of performance too? Like you knew you could do it, but actually having it come out that way, what did that do for you?
honestly, during the game, I didn't even realize I was doing all this stuff. I just, I kept looking at the scoreboard. I was like, we got to win. Like I remember
Yeah.
their score went up. They had 2 points. We went and got 2 points. So I was just like, we got to win this game. Like I would do whatever it takes to win. If I got to play defense, if I got to rebound, if I got to whatever it takes, whatever coach wants me to do, we have to win. But after we went into the locker room and coach told us the stats, I was
Mhm.
like, wait, what? Wait, really? Like, oh my gosh. And she's like, yes, you prepare yourself for this moment. Like you
Yeah.
have prepared yourself for this moment. And I think that, honestly, from the beginning of the season, I wanted to play Iowa in the championship. I said
Mhm.
there was no better way to end a season with playing a team that beat you the year before and beating them to win a national championship. So I think that that was God.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was honestly God, and just to do it like that, to go 35-0 with them at the end beating them it was really crazy. And I do give my hats off to Iowa. I mean, they
Mhm.
brought it to us. I mean, that was a team I never played a team like that. And I think that the things that they did, it was very different. Like we had to adjust. We had to, you know, change a little game plan that we had. So
Yeah, for sure. I think that it, like you said, like, it couldn't have been a better story ending for you guys to go 35-0, have it come full circle, to have it be them again. It's amazing. And talking about Dawn a little bit, what was it like to see Coach cry after the win? Because she's not a big crier. And so, like,
oh my
why
gosh.
do you think this one hit so hard for her?
To this day, I always be like, win, win,
Yeah.
win. I never see you cry. Like I never like I remember the 20 what year was that? 2022?
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't cry at all. Like she did not cry. But this year she cried. It was so crazy. I feel like the 35-0, and not even that, starting from scratch, from what we came from the summer to what we ended with, it was crazy. I mean, it wasn't easy. Like it was
Mhm.
not easy. There were some high with the highs and there was some low with the lows. I mean, it was a task. And just for her to be our coach and to keep us going, keep us just have this level minded for us to, just keep a winning mentality. So I
Mhm.
think that's what really made her cry. But her crying, it was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, Coach Staley is crying. Like her crying was like, wow. Like I never seen her crying. To this day, I always like, win, win to her.
That is hilarious. You're like, "Girl, get it together. This is not you. What is going on?" That is funny. And then we've talked about the talent across college basketball right now. It's at an all-time high from returners, incoming freshmen, super seniors, all the above. And so, what do you feel like about this year's team, even though you guys have the returning core? What's going to be your team's identity that's going to set you guys apart and take you back to another Final Four, another Natty?
Honestly, I think it's our theme. Uncommon. I think we're very uncommon, and I think you gotta expect the unexpected with us.
Mhm.
We are very much uncommon. There you go. That's the word.
I like
Uncommon.
it.
I can't say too much.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
don't
can't
give
say
it all away.
yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. We'll leave it at uncommon. Heading into our last section here, it's our vibe check. So it's going to be rapid fire answers. Here we go. What's the drill you never want to see on the practice plan?
Probably wing to wing. It's a thing called wing to wing that we do here. Yeah, wing to wing. It's
I was going to
crazy.
say 3 of the 4 South Carolina girls we have on the pod have said wing to wing. Aaliyah, Tahina, and you. But then Sanaya said husky. So I feel like those are our top
I
2
like
options
husky.
there. Do you like
I
it?
like husky. Yeah,
All right, so
wing to
wing to
wing
wing.
is yeah,
So that's the winner. All right.
yeah.
Would you rather have a game-winning shot or a game-winning steal?
A game winning still seatbelt. Strap up.
Seatbelt, love it. And 1 or 3-pointer?
Ooh, it depends on the scenario. If we need a 3, I'll take a 3, but if we need an and 1, oh, I would get that and 1.
I feel like and ones get you so hyped up. Like, it
It
gets
does.
everybody going.
It's more like the physicality, like you drive into the bucket.
Yeah.
And 1, I'm taking the and 1.
Okay, and 1. I like it. Off the court, go-to sneaker.
Ooh, I like expensive shoes, so I'm
Okay.
probably gonna say like Rick Owens.
Okay. Love that. Love that. Group TikTok or solo TikTok?
Group TikTok. Ooh, I love a good group TikTok.
Yeah. All right. Toughest place to play on the road.
LSU.
Good. Yeah, we've heard that one.
Yeah. LSU.
Hardest player you've had to guard.
Caitlin Clark. She moves extremely too much.
Nonstop, all around.
Nonstop. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Who's the biggest flopper you had to play against or on your team? Either one.
Breezy Hall. Breezy Hall. Breezy, if you see this, you're the biggest flopper.
So that was a quick answer
I mean,
immediately.
she knows how to take a charge, but
Yeah,
she knows
she
how to
sells
flop
it.
real well. Yeah, she does. She
She sells
does.
it for sure. All right. What's your biggest basketball ick?
Oh my gosh, my biggest basketball ick is when the refs don't let the teams play. All you gotta hear, boop, boop, boop. Like let us
Yeah,
play. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, like let us play.
They're trying to be in control of the game. It's like we're not here
Yes.
for you. I completely agree. Who is your basketball GOAT?
Maya Moore.
Good pick. She's one of mine. Okay.
Yes.
Now this is a hard hitter here.
Okay.
Sephora or Ulta?
Ooh, I just went to Ulta like 2 days ago, so Ulta.
Ulta girl? Okay, yeah. I
Yes.
feel like for me, Ulta has more curly hair products that I need. But if I want makeup, then I'm going to Sephora, if that makes sense.
Sephora, yep.
Like, I have
Yeah.
different needs from each store.
Yeah.
All right. Who would be your 2-on-2 teammate, but you can't choose one of your current teammates? It could be somebody in college or a WNBA player.
Coach Staley.
Oh, okay. Good pick. And then what is your best impression of Coach Staley?
Ooh, my best impression. Crying. There you go.
Yeah.
Her crying. That is my best impression of her. Her
I was
crying
like,
when we
don't do that to her. That's crazy. I know she has more than that.
I'm
Crying
definitely
is
choosing
fun.
the crying one.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Well, I hope she watches this and sees that. I hope so. Okay, well, Raven, this has been so amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the pod. Nothing but a pleasure.
Thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to everybody for listening. Stay tuned for more episodes of Sometimes I Hoop.